Now, currently, the President of the Republic of Kenya, together with the Director of National Intelligence Service, are currently in an unfolding scarf, or let me say, struggle between the two of them. The authorities in Kenya, as of today, being on 23rd of March 2025, reported that a police camp in Garissa at dawn today was attacked by Al-Shabaab militants who left at least 6 policemen dead. Are we together? Now, allow me to take you back to the mistakes that the president is regretting. President William Ruto has become somebody that is on a dying leash of his political career. And the president is determined to do anything possible under the sun for him to remain in power for his second term as the president of the Republic of Kenya. But we, as the people of the Republic of Kenya, have vowed that we shall take him home. Now, he has to come with countermeasures to ensure that he still remains the president before the 2027 general election. Recently, the National Intelligence Service, regarded as the top most efficient security agency and intelligence agency in Africa, failed to combat terrorist attacks in Lamu and in Garissa. Are we together? Now allow me to really expound on this statement. During the era of former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, he put a lot of resources into the National Intelligence Service to make sure that the NIS and the DCI are able to tame terror attacks in the country and to deal with terror attacks in the country in every way possible. And so, only in his first term, there were a few elements of attacks. But for the whole of his second term, the president, then Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, was able to deal a very great blow to the Al-Shabaab militants and their terrorist attacks and their terror happenings in the country. But when this man took over office, President William Ruto, he was so full of himself and decided to do away with, instead of using the National Intelligence Agency for the work that it is supposed to be doing, the National Intelligence Service, NIS, for the work of collecting intelligence, analyzing intelligence, and dealing with the terror threats in our country, the NIS under Nordin Haji, the current Director of National Intelligence Service, was turned to become a body that will be dealing with politics of President William Ruto, and more so, be arresting, intimidating, and even killing opposers and defectors from William Ruto's camp. Are we together? And that is where they went wrong. Instead of focusing their energy and resources into safeguarding the integrity of this republic and to safeguarding the lives of its citizens, they pulled that aside. Now, apart from how the National Intelligence Service has failed in regards to protecting its country, let's go to President William Ruto. 2 months ago or 1 month ago, he visited the northeastern region. Now, remember, before the visit of the president, 5 chiefs were abducted in Mandera. And these 5 chiefs, while the president was there, he promised that he will return them back. As we speak today, is on 23rd of March 2025, and the president has not delivered the 5 chiefs back home to their people. Apart from that, the president, because he knows there is no way he is going to be voted in, he needs a way to compensate the votes that he will be losing. And that is when he decided to do away with the ID vetting process in the northeastern part of Kenya. Led by Aden Duale, they opened the borders of Kenya and Somalia, leading the Al-Shabaab's militants into the country, into the heart of Kenya. And now, Al-Shabaab struck for the first time this year. It has struck over 6 to 7 times currently. First in Lamu, they took over a whole town, over 100 Al-Shabaab militants. The police have been deployed there, the KDF have been deployed there. But you know what? A lot of people have been killed, but the media cannot get rid of that information because the government, in a way, and the military is protecting the information that comes out of their operations in Lamu. Come to Garissa. Imagine of how volatile and how fragile we are as a country in terms of security if Al-Shabaab can attack a police post and kill 6 police officers. Now listen to what happened this morning and the news that we are receiving. 6 police officers are said to have been killed in an attack by suspected Al-Shabaab terrorists on a national police reservist NPR camp in northern eastern Kenya, officials said on Sunday. Now, the attack occurred in the remote area of Faf in Garissa County, near Kenya's border with Somalia. In a statement, Kenya's Anti-Terrorism Police Unit ATPU said the gunmen stormed the camp, opening fire on the officers. 6 people were killed in the attack, and we believe the assailants are members of the Al-Shabaab terror network, ATPU said. Authorities say security operations have been intensified in the region to track down the attackers. In Kenya's northeast, all Al-Shabaab terrorists frequently cross the porous border from Somalia to carry out deadly raids on security installations and civilian targets. Garissa County has experienced multiple attacks over the years, with security officials often warning of the persistent threat posed by the terror group. Now, the government says it remains committed to restoring peace and stability in the area. Yeah, that is what they always say. Now, apart from that, recently, the government of Kenya, after opening the borders na kukubali hawa watu waingie Kenya, they decided to close the Somalian Kenya border. Reason being, the intelligence officers from Somalia were fighting and killing Kenyan officers at the border between Kenya and Somalia. So these militants, these military officers from Somalia, were saying to be now fueling on a Kenya-Somali war. Are we together? Apart from that, the Al-Shabaab this time it's highly doing everything possible to take over the government of Somalia. Yesterday, news broke that an assassination attempt was made on the life of the Somalian president. Are we together? So tell me, how gullible can our president be with the whole force of the intelligence behind him deciding to open the borders just for the sake of votes in the year 2027? When it's high time that these people opens up their eyes, their ears, and their brains. I mean, as as the Bible tells us, what is it for a man to gain the world and lose his soul? Mr. President, you might gain the elections of the year 2027 and win through any means possible. But how many lives will be lost for the sake of you becoming and retaining your second term as the President of the Republic of Kenya? That is the question that a lot of people are asking, Mr. President. And now, intel that we have is that the President is currently blaming the National Intelligence Director, Nordin Haji, for what is currently happening in Kenya. We all know that one Rigathi Gachagua said that the National Intelligence Service has failed to protect its citizens during the Gen Z demonstration. Gachagua was called a tribalist. He was called a person that does not uphold the law, a person that has revealed state secrets. Bwana, that man was speaking the truth. Look at what is happening right now. Actually, Gachagua was making the point. Wakaenda mpaka kumpeleka kotini, they had him removed. But for the save, because he spoke against the director of National Intelligence Service. Yeah. Now sit down and see. Today it was Garissa. These people have entered our borders. They have invaded our borders. Where next will they strike? They have always been yearning to hit the heart of Kenya, and that is Nairobi and Mombasa. We pray to God that never comes. But our National Intelligence Service must divert their attention to dealing with the security of the people of the Republic of Kenya and protecting our country against invaders, our country against these terror groups, because if they don't do so and continue being used for the sake of settling political scores, then this country is being fed to the dogs by one President William Ruto. We can't be dealing with the external enemies, and yet instead of focusing our effort on the external enemies, we are focusing our effort to deal with our political rivals. That is nonsense. That is gibberish. I really love President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. That man put everything aside and decided to deal with these militants. Bwana walikipata under Uhuru, they would plan, but their plan would never make it because the National Intelligence Service was everywhere gathering intel. And the intel, once analyzed, walikuwa wanawakamata ama wanamaliza operations zao kabla hata hazijaanza. But now wanafika mpaka kuingia kwa police post. Wadau, is this country safe? That's it for now. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you in our next video.